Hi, I want to share a dream that I had back in October of 2014. This was from I put this on my Facebook years ago, but it's not on there anymore. But I screenshot, saved it, so I'm gonna read it. But this was a very interesting dream, and I often have dreams that are like messages. But anyway, okay, so last night I dreamed that I had several plants and trees in my yard that were very small, were young, and hadn't grown much. One day I greeted each plant and tree individually with as much attention, love, and excitement that you would give your own children when you are happy to see them. All I said was, "Hi, how are you today?" But I really wanted to know with all of my heart. What happened next was miraculous. The flowering plant I was speaking to began to rapidly grow, flower, and bloom before my eyes, seeming to indicate to me how much my love and concern meant to it. The flowers were more beautiful than I had ever seen. After giving the plant a much needed drink of water, I greeted a few more plants with the same results. I was filled with awe and an overwhelming love for these plants, as well as an increased desire to better care for them than I had in the past. My next visit was with a peach tree that had been neglected and unloved. It had never grown much after being planted, nor had it ever produced fruit. I spoke sweetly to it, and within a few minutes the dwarf grew into a magnificent giant tree full of ripe peaches. To my astonishment, these were not your normal sized peaches. They were the size of big watermelons. I don't know how the tree was supporting them, because the branches should have snapped under the weight. As my friends and neighbors were arriving to my house for a party, hold on. I have to enlarge this again. Sorry. Having trouble with this. Okay. Okay, as my friends and neighbors were arriving to my house for a party, they became witnesses to this miracle and enjoyed eating some of the biggest and sweetest peaches they had ever seen. End of dream. So I wrote also that I'm feeling a little guilty right now for neglecting my garden and trees. Maybe it's not too late to love them and care for them. On a deeper level, maybe this isn't about vegetation at all. That's what I wrote. And actually, I think that I was also feeling that motherly guilt. I'm going to say guilt, shame and guilt that you sometimes feel because you have so much responsibility placed on you to raise your children and to have them turn out a certain way. And, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's part of what I was feeling too, because I had 6 kids. I have 6 kids, and it's not easy to prune and shape them into what you think that they should be what it looks like to you, what you've been taught is success or whatever. And sometimes our nurturing, sometimes, I don't know, for me, I think I have felt that guilt because, like, sometimes I have felt very spread thin, and I felt like I wasn't doing enough nurturing and not loving exactly in the way that they would grow to their highest potential. But of course, I realize as I've gotten older and had more experience that it's not my responsibility to do anything other than to love them and help them and support them. But it's ultimately, and this is not just for children, this is for anyone outside of me, outside of myself. I'm not responsible for anyone else's growth. I'm only responsible for my own growth. And I can nurture and help, support another person's growth. But that's all I can do. All I can do is love them. But the growth has to happen. It has to be self-led by the individual. So yeah. I don't know, I just wanted to share that. And it really isn't for any of us to feel responsible for someone else's growth. I do think there's responsibility as far as like nurturing and loving. I do agree with that. But I do also feel that we need to let the natural growth happen, and not be so attached to outcomes, what things are supposed to look like, because eventually everybody has to figure that out for themselves. And the longer you put your programming onto somebody else that you have some sort of responsibility or stewardship over, the longer you do that, the less that they are able to sit in their own power and actually find their own power within, and that'll bite them when they're older. Like when they're my age, it'll bite them because they'll have a identity crisis on their hands, and they need, each of us need to figure out who we are on that soul level, and it's not for someone else to tell us. That is our job. Our job's to figure out who we are and to have our own personal power over our own lives. So, but it is magnificent when you can see someone reach their highest potential, like in that dream that I had. And we're all like that. We're all like that peach tree. We can be the peach tree. We just have to allow ourselves to um, to feel our own personal power and to not give it away anymore. And then we will see the exponential growth, like that peach tree, and the fruit of the growth, the fruit from that growth will be like miraculously bigger than you ever imagined it would be. So anyway, that's what I'm getting from from this dream that I had back in 2014, October 8th, 2014, this dream that I had. Yeah. We have unlimited potential, each of us, and we can be like that peach tree. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. And like I said, remember, your job is to find your power, retain your power, and let others do the same. Let everyone else live in their own power, their own personal power, and then we just love and support. That's all we're here to do. All right. Have a great day.